Well, welcome back to another edition of Getting to Know Our Committees here. That's not a formal name, but maybe it should be. We're here today with Bob Bush, who is on the Finance Committee, and which is a very interesting and fascinating committee. If you, it sees the world from a different perspective than some of the other committees that we have interviewed so far. So I'm fascinated to learn.
Right.
But tell me, just you can introduce yourself, but tell me your background from how you got involved with this committee. What were your magic powers from back in your working days that got you here?
Oh, I had 30 years of being a CPA and a auditor for a large major accounting firm.
That will do it. So,
and when I moved here, they had a result and they asked me in as soon as they saw the background. So I've been in it for 5-6 years.
That's great. Yeah. That's great. So tell me I could sort of envision what the Finance Committee does, but what is the role of the Finance Committee as far as a resident board goes?
As far as a resident board, yeah, we meet quarterly with the Chief Financial Officer, and he goes over the results of every quarter with the ups and downs. And then we have a chance to question him as to why the changes occurred and what's going to be done to change it or what needs to be done.
Right.
And then with that, we can't increase or decrease. We have no leverage whatsoever to do. It's just a nice thing that they have. And I might add that I find my components that live in other places like this, they don't get a chance to see the finances at all.
Right.
So Westminster Canterbury is very lenient and helpful in that regards.
So I guess it sounds like the way you're describing it, if I were to compare this to sort of my life at a home, is I've got expenses at my house, but I can't go to Dominion and say, how come you're charging me?
That's right.
They're not going to tell me anything like this is your bill and you pay it or not.
That's right.
Here, the Finance Committee is a way to have a conversation with the decision makers to say, look, this is what we're thinking, why we're thinking this way.
And do we need it? And the big question we ask is why? Why are you doing this? And why are you spending it at this time? Is the major we go by.
Right.
But we don't have the ability to say you must do a change.
Sure.
They take our recommendations.
Sure. But it does allow a bit of a two-way street, at least a conversation.
We hope it is, because the committee, one of the things I have in the committee is different. I've tried to get people from all over, from both ends of Westminster. And so when they can meet their neighbors can come to them rather than take the time of the CFO.
That's right.
Who is busy enough as it is.
That's right.
Particularly in these past couple of years.
To have 700 people coming to ask you the same question is
over and over.
That's right.
And
that's
so
right.
So we try and do. That's what we try and do. Go back and be, ambassadors of saying, here's what's going to happen.
Right.
Or bad news is coming, or good news is coming.
Right. So I would imagine that because you're looking at that sort of higher level accounting things, that it behooves you and everyone else on the committee to have some sort of an accounting background or
definitely,
a strong
or they'd be lost. Yeah. I mean, we get 10, 12-page reports, and they're all numbers. So it's not exciting reading. But if you were back at reviews, you could see trends coming, and you know ahead of time.
And you're looking at things and seeing things from a perspective of these are expenses that have to get spent. We're looking at the trends of what's the direction of what's things. It's not so much that, I don't want that number to be so big. It's more of like, no, these are necessary expenses.
That's right.
We're just trying to manage.
And we're taking care of knowing that as best we can what we can do in the future.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. So the committee, you said it meets every other.
It meets at the quarterly.
Quarterly.
At the end of every quarter.
End of every quarter.
Yeah.
Right. Gotcha. I think you mentioned before that it's a committee that you always. I think you said people are always welcome to sit in and listen.
Yes, and listen. We ask that. You're always open to come.
Sure. Gotcha. But in order to have someone on that committee, though, which I think you want to have more people on that committee. We really want an accounting background, just so some of the information.
It will benefit them and everybody else. If you have one or two, it slows it down.
I'd imagine it's like going into a new sport and going, I want to be coach, but
That's
do you know
right.
the rules of the game? Well, no, but I'll figure it out. Like,
That's right.
Maybe you should learn the rules first and then be coach.
No,
Yeah.
it's interesting to see what the changes have been now, and particularly in the last couple of years with the unknowns. I mean, it has been CFOs, everybody has had a very
Right.
difficult time because we don't know.
Right. Well, you can't predict things anymore. Well, this will cost X next year. You don't know what it's going
That's
to cost
right.
next year, right?
And, but they've done very good management so far.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So, if there's someone's interested in learning more about the finance committee, are there people that they can talk to besides yourself? I'm guessing you'd be open
Oh, yes,
to that. but-
yes, we have. Anybody that's on the committee would be able to advise,
answer that,
tell
gotcha.
them as what's going on.
Gotcha. That's great. I can't think of anything else that we wanted to cover. Is there anything that you wanted to?
Well,
make sure?
the only other thing is at the end of the year we review the budget, which is very important that everybody's interested in.
Sure.
And so we go over the pros and cons. But I think the result is it's a little bit of a check and balance. With other companies, if you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder, then you do whatever you want. And you don't have to justify it. In this case, we are going to look it over and ask them to justify it.
Right.
And we work out very well. I must say the CFO is bends over backwards to help us understand and get the results.
Right.
So,
That's great. And it's great that the residents are in the group that's hearing this is how we're spending your money that
That's
you're giving
great.
us.
That's
Right. I mean,
great.
this is what we think is and so having some input
Yes.
is amazing in that. So
Yeah.
that's great. Well, if you have questions about the finance committee or want to be a part of it, and you have an
Yes.
accounting background or some sort of a background that allows you to understand the principles of accounting that go on,
That is great.
talk to Mr. Bush and talk to anybody else on the committee, and or just sit in on a meeting and see how they go.
Yes. Just let us know in advance. A lot of times we've been using the computers now.
Teams or one of those.
Teams, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for the time today and the time
fine.
on the committee. And if you have any questions, let us know.
Call me.
Thanks a lot.